My name is CJ Stewart, Conrad CJ Stewart. I'm running for the office of Vice Chairman of the Crow Nation. And my credentials, I graduated from the University of Montana in construction theory and graduated from Lodge Grass High School in 1992. Some of the credentials that I do have, I served in the legislative branch for 2 terms with the Black Lodge District, and from 2007 to 2015, and I served on the Natural Resources Committee all those years, and I served in the capacity of the vice chairman for 2 years of that committee and 6 years overall for the remaining of my term. I served as chairman of the Infrastructure Committee for 8 years, and I've served on various other committees as well, from gaming to health and human to the finance committee to the surface land and various committees. Served on the Montana Coal Board, brought millions of dollars to the area for the area schools and for the county and for the tribe as well. Served as the first tribal member, Crow tribal member on that committee, and was voted in as the vice chairman of the committee as well, of the coal board. Most recently, I was reappointed back to the National Coal Council. I never had a lapse in term. I just went into from my previous term, appointed by Rick Perry, the Secretary of Energy, to being reappointed for the term of 2020 to 2022 with Secretary of Energy Dan Brule. And so, with that being said, I've served in many capacities on the tribal front, and most currently I've served as a board director and co-founder with the National Tribal Energy Association. And with that, we don't represent the tribes, we represent the opportunities, and we bring the energy development opportunities to the tribes and to the agencies, so that way we can create synergy between the tribes and the agencies in that regard. I've been an entrepreneur since 2016, serving, as a self-employed entrepreneur, Crow tribal, Native American entrepreneur, and been pretty lucky, mostly been working out of DC ever since this past March when we got grounded because of the pandemic. But I've been in DC about 50% of my time every year, so working out of DC, I've been there for 2016. Prior to that, I was serving as the Crow Nation legislative liaison and energy advisor to the executive branch and chairman. So with that being said, I just wanted to get into some of the areas here as far as the state of finances, and what I would like to do as far as that's concerned. First and foremost, we have to understand that with the finances by itself, I can come in here and I can have good ideas, goals and plans and whatever, but if we have no money, then it's going to be really hard to perform. So the first order of business coming into this is we're going to have these internal audits by department and by branch, and find out what we have available, so then that way we can create corrective action plans on any hemorrhaging of finances in any one department or another, and so then that way we would be able to heal from whatever's lacking or whatever's not there, so then that way we can create the opportunity to identify what we can and can't go after as far as money is concerned. A lot of our money is matched by the general fund, And as we all know, 66% of the finances were subsidized by our co-revenue. It's not like that no more. That was in the heyday of the coal development back when we were averaging 6.5 million tons a year with the Upsalagat coal mine. So with that knowledge and knowing that there's a lack thereof as far as money is concerned, I can't give you an accurate, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. It wouldn't be fair to me to tell you how we're going to approach these areas as far as finances. Sure, there's things that we would like to do. As far as the trash is concerned, you know, there's so much money being wasted right there with the trash by itself. You know, here on the reservation, there's programs through the Environmental Protection Agency where we can create recycling programs, whether it be plastics, paper, you know, metal, whatever be the case. There's programs there that would create revenue per district, and we have not tapped into those areas. Those are some of the things that we need to take a look at right away, but most of all, the most important part concerning the trash is we have to come in and make sure there's no more burning of trash. Brandon Goodluck, Senator Goodluck from the Wildwood District actually passed Crow tribal law where the burning of trash is illegal. And it's sad that it's coming from the leadership, and the leadership is asking to burn this trash. We wouldn't do that. We need to look at the environmental aspect of everything that's going on here, with the trash, with the dead dogs, with the, you know, we need to, and that's something that can be, you know, through the CARES Act funds. There's $25 million there. 60% of it supposedly came in, if not will, and that money can be used for areas such as that to help alleviate a lot of the litter, the trash, the problem here in the reservation, and we can write it off as a COVID issue. The homes, cleaning of the communities, and the job creation that it would create to, you know, 20 people per district to clean up, maybe more. I don't know what it would be, but we would have to go to the extent of finding out exactly what we have left from this administration to find out what we can actually do when we're performing our goals and platforms. And so internal audits have to be done. There has to be an internal audit, and a lot of this has to be in cooperation with the Crow Legislative Branch. The Crow Legislative Branch are your eyes and ears to the council, and your members are there, the ones you voted in on. And so they need to know and have this information to convey to the general public, and the executive branch has to allow that to happen through the process of the Constitution, through the process of the quarterly reporting and the biannual reporting, whether it be in the spring and the fall, and nothing in the Constitution says we can't have more than one reporting. We can schedule that every quarter. We can schedule that after we get the reporting to the legislative branch. And those are some of the things we need to start thinking about. Is everybody needs to be on the same page when it comes to the finances, when it comes to the interests and the assets of the Crow tribe according to the enumerated powers of the legislative branch. The legislative branch has authority over all interests and assets of the Crow people. And that's what we need to really focus on, are those areas. So then that way, you as the Crow people have a better understanding, you'll have better communication, you'll be on a better communication level with your legislatures as well as the executive branch, so then that way we can go ahead and perform better reporting and better communication and clear the path for the goals and the success that we're looking towards. You know, some of the issues as far as the economic conditions, I think everybody's well aware of, and we don't need to get negative about it because we know, we know who's in office, we know who's, and it's easy to get negative. But one of the things we need to really think about is the issues with housing. You know, I really like this, you know, the ideas that are coming out from the community, and some of the community members concerning the housing have spoke with me about some of the ideas, and one of the great ideas I liked was these cabins that they have. The Crow tribe, why can't we build these cabins, they say. We build these cabins, sometimes they're 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and then we can set up an area for rather than pay for hotel rooms, we can build these cabins with our material, with our workers, and turn this money back into itself, this COVID money, so in that way it's performing, more, it's creating more opportunities per dollar than just what it's doing going out. And so creating through the housing, creating these cabins, so in that way we can go ahead and quarantine our people there, and then have people come in creating jobs to clean up the cabins, clean up their homes, so in that way, because right now we have 2 to 3 families living in one home. One person gets COVID, what happens to the other 10 people living in that house? They might all test negative, but eventually they're going to get COVID. So we have to really be cognizant and of the fact and the safety of our members that they don't get COVID, and that we make sure through this COVID CARES Act funding that we create and we think and we create opportunities that will work for our people. And when I say work for our people, I'm talking about the safety aspect. I'm talking about, the quarantining. I'm talking about, the prevention of COVID, and then ultimately caring for them while they have COVID. So this is something that we need to really think about. And with this CARES Act COVID funding, there's so much opportunity. Right now, there shouldn't be no issues concerning Bullis and Dahl Funeral Home. A lot of our tribal members are passing away from COVID, and sad to say, they're having graveside funerals, and yet the tribe is having a hard time paying for their the $2,500 allotted to that funeral. And I believe that the COVID funding can be a source to cover those areas, just because it's dealing with COVID itself. And so we wouldn't have to stress our general fund, and we wouldn't have to try to find those dollars to be able to cover our tribal members in that regard. But the money that's there with the COVID CARES Act funding can be shaved off in a way where we're able to cover those areas. There are just so many things that we can do when it comes to the performance of this CARES Act funding. And when we're talking about overall, what are we going to do when there's no CARES Act funding? Well, we're going to have to start thinking about something when it comes to, as in my forte as an energy, they say coal is dead. Coal is not dead. The technology of coal is dead. It's getting to a point where you get electricity, and versus 1 ton of coal, that's the only byproduct you create. But there's so many ways to monetize the uses of coal through carbon capture, utilization, and storage. And through the CCUS, they call it carbon capture, utilization, and storage. It captures 98% of the carbon at these power plants. It monetizes those uses of that carbon, and we can create CO2 EOR, meaning that enhanced oil recovery through the capturing of this carbon and piping it to these oil fields, whether it be the Bakken, through the Permian, or or whatever may be the, whatever, whoever wants this carbon. And so when it's injected into the ground, it stimulates the other 20 to 30% of oil that's in the ground that wouldn't come out before, and it creates a new revenue stream for that particular one oil well. So when we're creating this CO2 EOR through the CCUS technology, then that's going to be able to create a lot of jobs, a lot of revenue, a lot of streams of revenue for the Crow tribe, and that's just capturing the carbon side of it. There's still about 20 other byproducts through biomass to liquids with coal, with the coal technology. And right now with the Department of Energy, Department of Interior, and the USEA, they're all getting together and they're creating these opportunities. And the federal government is going after the hydrogen. They're looking at CCUS. They're looking at all these different technologies. They're creating low-hanging fruits, so then that way we can go ahead and expound on these opportunities. And with the Crow tribe being 10% of the nation's, they own 10% of the nation's oil and 3% of the world, there's no reason why the Crow tribe shouldn't be a player in this new technology and this new foothold going forward with energy development. So with that being said, that would be a job creation, that would be revenue creation, that would be a new path going forward for the Crow Nation. And that would expand on our resources, and that would expand on our energy development. So one of the other things is the children and elders. As a grandfather myself, and as a father, and I'm not quite at the elder stage yet, but we do have to recognize the fact that, our elders are our greatest resources, and our children are our greatest human resource. And as far as the education is concerned, we know we don't have a head start. I was talking with my Uncle John Small, and he's the superintendent of public instruction for the Bighorn County. And as we were talking, he was, him and I, we shared in a concern that because of the lack of head start, the lack of education for our young ones, and then now the pandemic, it's putting our kids 4 years behind, and we can't afford that. Coming into this, this new age with cryptocurrency and with the millennial age with computer software and everything. Before you figure one out, another one's obsolete. It's just the advancing of intelligence. We can't afford to allow our kids to be 4 years behind. We have some very talented young people here on the Crow Reservation, and anymore nowadays, the kids, they're really advanced with the technologies that are given to them, and we need to invest in them. We need to invest in our children from day one as we're coming into college. And so whether they want to come to go to a college somewhere else or stay home and go to college, I think that should be afforded them, that they have that opportunity. And with the elders, it was passed by law that the 107 monies was supposed to help them and subsidize the elders, and that was supposed to be somewhat like a Crow Social Security program. And it's something that we need to restore. When we talk about goals, when we talk about what accomplishments we would like to see, it boils down to restoration. Restoration of the Crow Nation through the infrastructure, through the education, through just the synergy of creating an environment, business friendly, environmental friendly, and, you know, through the various technologies that are here. And so with the younger ones, creating Voltex, you know, creating an opportunity where they can get into a truck and drive a truck, or, you know, run a piece of equipment. And it's not just for the men, but for the women as well, because I've seen, you know, as a heavy equipment operator myself, we have some of the best operators that I've ever seen, you know, around. And so I know that, you know, through the establishment of workforce development and creating an environment that's friendly to that effect, that we would have more people wanting to engage in that industry. But then yet again, we need to create a business friendly environment, so that way more industry will come in. Right now, the whole Black Lodge district is an opportunity zone. And when I speak to that, when I speak to that, it's a term in the US tax code, where if anybody wants to come in and invest in these areas, like the mine wants to expand, anything they expand into the reservation when it's dealing with the real estate, they don't have to buy the land, they can lease the land, and that would, whether it be 5, 7, 10 years, they don't have to pay any capital gains taxes. And that would be profit on the bottom line for any investor wanting to come in. It incentivizes their ability to come into the reservation to help us create opportunities for our people. That's there. That's a job creation. That's revenue creation. And it's brand new. And it's something that we can expand on. It's something we can look forward to. And I just wanted to thank everybody. And I didn't necessarily get to speak to some of the issues that I really wanted to speak to, but yet again, I'll be down to, you know, I'll be on the campaign trail, you know, talking about the importance of our buffalo, talking about the importance of our mountains, talking about the importance of our treaty rights. I mean, I can go on, we can go on and on about this conversation, and the importance of our natural resources, creating jobs, creating revenue streams, and all in all, protecting our way of life as a Crow Tribal Upsalaga member. So with that, Aho, thank you. I appreciate your time. Aho.
Thank you, CJ. Do you want to make any closing comments?
Maybe I should. I'll make a quick closing comment. Do I speak to an issue, or do I?
Just whatever you,
Okay.
maybe ask people why they should vote for you or whatever.
Okay. In closing, I just want to ask the Crow Tribal membership. You know, we haven't had too much of a chance to campaign, and so I ask for your support. I've served in the legislative branch. I've served on the federal level. I've served on the state level. I've served with other tribal leaders across the country, and I have the experience. I can navigate through those waters for the Crow people, especially. And so with that, I ask for your support, and I appreciate you coming out listening to me. Thank you.